You're listening to the Travis Makes Money podcast. What's going on, money makers? Welcome back to the Travis Makes Money podcast, where it's our mission to help you make more money. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about 3D printing and a couple of other things with my new friend, Ben Weiss. Ben is literally building the future of sneakers, shoes designed with artificial intelligence that are entirely 3D printed, accompanied by an excellent team and set of advisors, including the legendary Reebok founder, Joe Foster, and original Shark Tank shark, Kevin Harrington, among others. But before we jump into this conversation with Ben, if you're tuning in and you're wondering how I go about building amazing relationships on this show or on my other show, Travis Makes Friends, it's been through the podcast. And if you're curious, if you're a founder, 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneur, and you're curious how a podcast might be able to help you, I am taking 1 or 2 one-on-one coaching clients for a limited time. TravisChappell.com/coaching. There's a quick application there. You can see if we might be a good fit to work together. TravisChappell.com/coaching. Ben Weiss, what's up, dude? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Travis. Excited to be here.
So let's start with a softball question for you here, bro. How do you currently make money?
Sure. So our business right now is based on selling shoes, and we're selling shoes in a very unique way. These are not just the typical go and buy a shoe, put your size in, and then we give you a pair of shoes. This is scan your feet with your phone camera. And once you do that, and you have an 8x11 piece of paper next to it, we get those measurements, 12 different data points, including your arch height, your length, your width, and we 3D print a custom shoe to fit you perfectly. And that's the goal of this, to be the best fit experience you can have. So we make money through selling shoes like that. And we've been able to sell them to all different parts of the world, including Italy and Thailand, but primarily based in the United States. And that's where the initial ones are. We just launched this product. It's pretty new overall, but it's been a breakthrough because nobody has really designed shoes with artificial intelligence that are commercially available yet. And we've got an incredible designer, Kedar Benjamin, based in India, that has helped come up with this incredible process to do this. And then led our design and implemented this unique way to make shoes with artificial intelligence. And we've got a factory in Germany led by an individual named Cornelius. It's got this unique 3D printing method. And putting that all together, we've been able to build a really first of its kind, groundbreaking product that real shoes today can be made with artificial intelligence.
What were you doing before this, bro? Like, how do you get into 3D printing shoes on the internet? You know,
It's a good question. Before this, I was building a different type of footwear brand, trying to target more of the NFT space and backing people in the hip hop world with their own shoes that you can wear digitally and physically, and having a bit of a different approach there. But even before that, I was in college. I was in business school. I went to YU. I got a strategy and entrepreneurship degree over there. I always wanted to be entrepreneurial, was inspired by what Steve Jobs did with the iPod and how that was the everything device, and what Elon Musk has done with Tesla, and the experience in that car is just incredible. Wanted to build consumer technology and realized there was an awesome opportunity in footwear to become the content creator shoe company, to give the Mr. Beasts of the world, the Jake Pauls of the world, their own signature shoes like athletes have had. These individuals have just as much influence, if not more, than many of those athletes, but they never get that type of deal. And so with our unique method now of designing shoes with artificial intelligence and fully 3D printing them, you don't have any molds, you don't have the typical inventory you have to have on hand, and the design process is way more cost effective and quicker. So you can make a brand new shoe in a couple months compared to the typical time frame of 18 months, a year and a half to make a new shoe. And we can give these content creators their own brand new design and actually have them express themselves in this category when they're selling everything else, Travis, from hats to shirts to shorts to hoodies to sweatpants, but never shoes across the board.
Why did you go into the shoe space in particular?
So I've been buying shoes for some time since I was young. I've had a collection. I wouldn't say I'm like this super hype beast that I've got to have like the rarest pairs, but I have a variety of assortment of all different types of shoes. And I think it's an incredible way to express yourself, and just to, it's kind of like the cars of your feet in a sense. It's a great way to just kind of show what you feel through your footwear. And I realized this opportunity to back content creators with their own shoes, just kind of because I've been in that space a bit and just seeing how that world has shifted. I grew up with social media and grew up with it in a way that it was just starting to where it is now. So I've seen the progression. And when the influencer wave was beginning to occur, it was beginning in a way that these individuals were viewed as like digital real estate, where, the amount of impressions they got, the amount of views they got, you would want to advertise with them. And that was a shift, but it wasn't like they were their own brands and they had their own identities, and people viewed these individuals like that and cared about what they said and what they did in a similar way to how the athletes were respected. But now that line has been blurred and it's really shifted. And so seeing this and growing up with it and realizing now the next phase is that these people are their own brands and they're already launching their own brands off of what they've built, that this is going to be a progression where they need to be treated just like athletes are treated. And that's exactly what we're building at that intersection.
When you start a company like this, is like how capital intensive is it to get things off the ground?
It's a great question. It would seem like it's really capital intensive, right? It's a very different type of process to make a shoe. It's 3D printed. Like this seems like it's very expensive. It's not as expensive as you would think, just because we actually save a lot of money in our process. Our process to design the shoe is very efficient. It's 70% done by AI. Although we have a human designer overseeing it all, it's efficient in that method. And because it's fully 3D printed, some of the biggest costs to get into footwear are your mold costs. You have to make a mold for size 6, size 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Every single one of those you have to have that mold done for. So it can be very expensive to even just get started. But here it's all 3D printed exactly to your feet, length, width, and other measurements. You don't have to do any of that. So actually, the more innovative method is way more cost effective to do. And that's something that, maybe may surprise people. You would think this incredible technology and these really advanced ways of doing things are more expensive, but they're actually not. And I think this is the case in many instances with technology, is that when it comes around, it does become more affordable for people. I mean, there's some amazing AI tools out there that you can take advantage of now instead of building proprietary software to just get going and put something out into the world.
What's the material made out of?
So it's all TPU. So it's typical 3D printed material, plastic, and it's structured internally to be comfortable. So all the different types of shoes we've developed here, the different colors we have, all of them are structured the exact same way. Where inside of it, it's almost like there's these triangles, and each one of them kind of when you step down in it has some give. It moves a bit, and so it's not just like a typical flat layer by layer by layer approach. It's smartly structured internally. And if you look at like a lot of typical 3D printed products, it's just kind of plastic on top of plastic on top of plastic. And that layer by layer approach is not sophisticated. But here, in order for shoes to be possible, and it's not just going to be something that's really hard to wear on your feet, you have to have this internally structured to be comfortable. And that's something that's an innovation our factories produce. That part of the reason we want to work with them is because of this, because it's actually very comfortable to wear a shoe, and the material is still possible to be printed in the same way that traditional 3D printing is done. And so that's something that's been a breakthrough in that category, and we're happy to implement that into our product.
What are some of the biggest obstacles you guys have come across that maybe you didn't expect from the beginning?
Yeah, I think just the customer flow and how that all works is something that was very different. So some people have it's taken them a little bit of time to understand that. It's not like you're just buying a shoe, Travis, and you're getting a size and
Yeah.
that's all. You've got to scan your feet. And you would think that it's pretty simple to do something like that. It's not that complicated in our process. I think it's actually very simple. But for people that grew up in different generations and maybe didn't grow up with their phones or with certain technologies, it can take more time. And
Yeah.
fortunately for us, we have a really wide ranging customer base of people interested in this. We had somebody that recently reached out to us that's in their 90s saying she wants to be the first person to wear these at the elderly home that she's in. So it's really wide ranging. And so when you're dealing with that, with this new type of process, it can be a little bit complicated at times for people to figure out how to scan their feet. But we have great customer support. We've been helping a lot of people out on this, and we haven't had any problems with anyone who wants to get a scan done to get their scan done. And so that's just something that's a bit different to experience over here, but we're fine to help people out.
How often are there any sort of like mess ups in the design in terms of how it fits on the foot? Is it like if we get correct data from the customer, it's like 100% we're definitely going to get it right, or is there some margin of error there?
I would say there's a small margin of error, just like with anything, but we're pretty much going to get it right. And I mean, we've had just a extensive testing phase of going through this and trying to make sure the scan is done correctly for people through prototypes. And we've heard from a lot of different people that we've gotten it right for them. And like they've had an amazing fit experience. Initially in our testing, we had different phases where it wasn't as great. And we had to get new ones that were done. But we made sure that we got that to the right point before we released it. And so far, everyone has thought that it's been fitting them really great. And we're happy to hear that. But I think that custom shoes is something that's so unique and different where currently if you hear about custom shoes, it's like, how do you even get that done? And if you do,
Yeah.
it's pretty expensive. But like now
Right.
we're actually making custom shoes fully accessible to people. And our shoe's $150. It's the most affordable fully 3D printed shoe we've ever seen. And we specifically made it that way. And we cut our margins to make it that way. It's pretty expensive to make compared to traditional shoes because we want to get this in the hands of people. We want people to go and wear something that really feels like the future is now and it's the present. And we've seen that the reactions have been amazing, which is, we're definitely happy about. But
Yeah.
it's a very different type of product overall. It's not something that is standard in any manner.
What is like the main use case? Like, is it more like a leisure shoe? Is it a work shoe? Is it a running shoe? Like, can it be basically any of those things, or have you seen it to perform better in particular areas?
So it's really a leisure shoe. I mean, this is all designed to be for lifestyle, for casual wear. It's not athletic designed in any manner.
Okay.
It's a slide, but what we've done, Travis, is we've realized the slide category kind of has taken on its own function. Maybe not the one that it was intended for initially. It's a category that you have people wearing their slides when they work from home, when they're walking out for errands, when they're doing all different types of things. And like the slide is not that much material. It's fairly thin overall, and it's not designed to have the same level of comfort as a sneaker. So we're like, the slide needs to be designed with the same level of comfort as a sneaker has. It needs to be much thicker to withstand many more of the elements people are going to bring this in, and they already are. It needs to be designed like with the same level of care a sneaker has and details. And so we took that approach in building this. I mean, our shoe has patterns all around it that are generated by AI, wrap around it. It's really detail oriented. It has a lot of thickness in the back, so it's almost like Hoka level thickness. And that's just, helping people out in the way they're using slides now. It's really designing it for what the practical use has been, maybe not what was intended initially. And so that's something that's a bit different here, and that's the market we're going after.
How many layers of customization are required from the customer when they go through the process?
Not too much. I mean, right now it's one design that's available in 5 different colors, and then you get the opportunity to go and do the foot scan. And so that's just each foot individually scanned. You only have to have an 8 by 11 piece of paper next to your feet to
Got
go
it.
and scan it. And it's something that takes 2 minutes to really do. We use Volumental for that. It's a great scanning software, and it's really built into a nice workflow. So not too complicated overall, but that's really where most of the customization lies in. This isn't like a super personalized product from a design standpoint. That is something we're exploring. Like, what can you do to give people, almost like a different version of like Nike ID level creativity
Yeah, right, right.
in design? But it's not necessarily there yet. But maybe that's something down the line.
Oh, and how long did you say you guys have been doing this for now?
So, I mean, we've been building this company for about 2 years.
Okay.
It's been some time to kind of get the right team together and to build out the processes. I mean, we had to establish, Travis, the entire same level quality athlete supply chain for content creators. So we now have a relationship with the number one factory in footwear right now in the world in
Wow.
Vietnam. We have the founder of Reebok, who built the company to the best-selling shoe brand in the world. He's on our board, Joe Foster. We have Kevin Harrington, who was one of the sharks on Shark Tank, who was responsible for coming up with and for really leading the influencer marketing strategy for Celsius with their Celsius drink.
Yeah.
And that was a company that really had a major turnaround because of his incredible efforts. And he took it to, I think, about $5 billion valuation before he left the board there and is now on our board. So I wanted to really get the right people in multiple different categories that are so experienced, that understand how to do influencer marketing, that understand how to build a shoe brand and make it to an incredible success, and to bring them on to advise us. And that took some time to do and to establish the supply chain and a bunch of other elements. So it's something that takes a process. Success is not just all of a sudden overnight. But fortunately, we've been able to get some amazing coverage on this, and people have realized the kind of breakthrough that it is. We were on the front page of USA Today. Betty there wrote an amazing article on us. We were on Fox Business on Liz Clayman's show talking about this, which we very much enjoyed, in Inc. and Entrepreneur and a lot of other places, including all around the world. Business Standard, the leading business paper in India, wrote about us. And I think it's just a testament to how people really want to see innovation in this category. And they want to see AI applied to their lives now in a way they can benefit from in the physical world. Besides digital, we see the ChatGPTs of the world. We see how AI can benefit you digitally. But what about the physical reality we live in? How is AI going to affect us? And that's exactly what we wanted to do here.
From a financial perspective, how has it been going in terms of, like, have you been able to do this full time, or have you been doing something else on the, to a certain point while you've been kind of getting it to a degree where you can do it full time? Talk to me about the personal finance part of this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing a couple other things to go and make sure that I can finance this. We have an investor also helping us out, who's a good family friend, that's significantly contributed to it. But I put in the majority of the capital at this point, and I think that's that's something that's just if you want to make something happen, you'll make it happen. You kind of figure out a
Yeah.
way. Um, and if you got a dream, you're gonna go after it, till it's sustainable. And this is getting to a point where I think very soon it will be entirely. I mean, we're very new. But it's getting there, and I think that's something really exciting to see. But yeah, been doing other things to go and make sure I've got the capital to make this thing, fully functional and get it out there.
Yeah, I just want to give people a glimpse of what it takes to get something out into the world. Like, especially when it's something like this. This is like an innovative product, innovative process in a very stale category, like a rigid category that's been around for a long time, that's hyper competitive. And so when I'm always very interested in people coming into hyper competitive, old stale categories with a new differentiated idea or product. And I'm super stoked to see where it goes, man. But I wanted to give people like a glimpse of an idea to be like, hey, this doesn't just happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's going to be things in the meantime where it's like, yeah, I'm working on this business, 40, 50 hours a week. But in my free time, I also have to do something to make money so that like food's on my table and that I make sure I have a place to live still, because like this is eating up more cash in the meantime than it's going to produce, with the hope that one day it reverses. Right. So,
Yeah.
talk to me about your kind of personal finance philosophy in the meantime.
Sure. I mean, look, I believe if you have something that you really want to go after, you've got to put full energy towards that, and time. And you have to do it within what's practical for you and for your life. Um, so I mean, that's really what I've been trying to do here with this brand. And fortunately, I've got a great team of advisors that's been supportive. It has I mean, I wouldn't say overlooked, but they haven't necessarily placed the biggest aspect of this on the financial opportunity for them in the immediate short term. They look at this as a big opportunity, a long-term opportunity, because if we nail this category, we could become the biggest shoe brand in the world. I mean, the content creator niche is the biggest niche likely for signature footwear. I mean, there
Yeah.
are more content creators on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, and all different platforms that have audiences and have fan bases than there are people who are athletes. They're in professional sporting leagues. And the athletes sporting leagues are also very limited compared to what you can do in the creator world. Right now, basketball has become the predominant sport for signature shoes because they're non-spike shoes that you can wear casually.
Yeah.
Soccer, football, European football is a way bigger sport. And it's the biggest in the world, but you can't really do the same thing with the signature footwear there. So
Yeah.
there are limitations. I mean, hockey is another example. Baseball is another example. Some of the biggest sports in the world, you can't even fully do this signature shoe thing, which has been such an aspect of these brand success. So I think, our team and all of us look at this as like this is a long-term play. It takes some time to make these things a success. I also have a
Yeah.
podcast called Legends and Leaders, and some of the people I've talked to, it's been like 10 years before they make anything successful and it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So we look at this as a long-term play overall, and we'll just do whatever it takes to get it to that point. If it's part-time jobs, if it's raising money from other people, just whatever it takes to get it done is what's going to happen.
Yeah, if you're not in the long game, you're in the wrong game. And if you had investors that were not in the long game, then that would be a massive red flag as a founder. Like if you had somebody putting money in the company expecting a return next year, it's like, whoa, hang on, maybe we should have another discussion about this. Like anytime you're trying to build something good, man, you got to look at it in terms of decades rather than terms of months. People always underestimate what they can do in 10 years and overestimate what they can do in 1 year, and then judge their results based on the first year, rather than waiting around to see the harvest of their hard work over the course of a decade. So I have absolutely no doubt that you guys are going to get there. Appreciate you taking the time to come on the show, Ben. For somebody listening that is maybe they're sitting on an idea and they make a little bit of money right now. Maybe they're in an entrepreneurial venture, maybe they're in a full-time job, but they got a little bit of money, not too much, and they want to attack this big, audacious goal that they have. What would be your advice to them?
I mean, I would make the most practical plan you could have based on your resources and just go and try to execute on that. I think a lot of times entrepreneurs have these big visions and they feel like they need all this money to get it done. There's a lot you can do with the resources you have, and it may not be perfect. but you've got to just build something and get it out there. And the best way you're going to learn is by building something, putting it out in the world, and hearing feedback. And you've got to just do that with what you have. I mean, this is a product that didn't necessarily cost, tons and tons of money to go and build, but it's went really far around the world. And we've been able to lead in this category when, established brands maybe haven't even introduced anything like this. So, I wouldn't get intimidated by incumbents, by players in the space. I wouldn't get intimidated by lack of the same amount of capital. I think you just need to figure out something that's innovative, that sets you apart, that doesn't necessarily cost too much, or it's possible within your resources, and just put it out and see what the world thinks. I'd also suggest you really get a mentor, a mentor that's been there, done that in the category that you love. I think there's a lot of people that are willing to give back, that are established individuals. If you just reach out to them and write a nice note to them, I've been fortunate to get that, here with my team. I reached out to everybody cold initially, and now have them, advising me, and that's been incredibly impactful. I mean, these people have so much knowledge, and their advice is worth millions and millions of dollars. But I've been able to get that because they really care about this.
Love it, dude. Appreciate you, Ben. Let's move into the last segment here. Just the rapid round, quick, rapid questions, quick, rapid answers. You ready?
Sure.
What profession other than your own do you think it would be fun to master?
I think public relations would be pretty interesting overall, but I'm pretty happy with where I'm at.
If you could sit on a park bench with someone, past or present, and chat for an hour, who would it be?
Past or present, Elon would be great to chat with. Steve Jobs would be great to chat with as well. Ben Franklin, those would be a couple of the individuals.
How do you like to consume information best? Books, audiobooks, blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos, newsletters?
Lots of different ways. Social media, YouTube is great. I think from the sources themselves, from individuals that post on different platforms, is really the best way.
What's a good resource you'd recommend on making money that you follow frequently, whether it's a person, a book, or something?
Noah Kagan has really great information. He wrote a book, $1 Million Weekend. It talks about how to build $1 million business in like 24, 48 hours from not much. And I think it's a great book for every entrepreneur to read.
What is your go-to pump-up song, Ben?
I wouldn't say I have one like specific go-to song, but the Rocky theme song is always great.
What is something that you are not very good at?
I think that I've really worked to pick the best people to be around me. I've struggled with that previously, picking the wrong people, and it just cost me a lot. But I also learned a lot from that, and I've gotten much better at it now. So I'm definitely happy I've improved in that category.
As we get everything wrapped up here, Ben, where can people go to get more information from you or maybe buy some shoes?
Syntilay.com to learn more about our shoe brand, Syntilay, and then LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm pretty active on both those.
syntilay.com. Go pick up some shoes, guys. Support all the entrepreneurs that come on the show. And regardless of if you decide to support them or not, I think this one's going to be around for some time. But Ben, love seeing new innovative ideas and concepts getting put out into the market, especially disrupting older categories like this one. So congrats to you on all the success so far. And I can't wait to see where the brand continues to go. I know it's going to be something that we look back on and remember a time when shoes used to not be printed custom and be like, why did we used to do that? You know what I mean? So thank you for being willing to come on the show and share about the journey, Ben. Appreciate you. For everybody else listening, tuning in, remember, money only solves your money problems. You're left with the problems that money can't solve. But it's a little bit easier to solve those other problems if you got some money in the bank. So let's solve that problem first here on the Travis Makes Money podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Catch you next time. Peace out.